Hello beautiful people, I'm Sabrina and welcome to my channel. So I'm fairly new to BookTube. I started making videos last year, but because of life events I had to stop. And I really enjoy making videos, so this year I decided to start again. And I realized that I haven't shared much information about myself, so today I thought, what better way for everyone to get to know me than to share like my favorite books. I have some books here that are definitely like in my favorite list. Like if you ask me what my favorite book is, I would probably mention one of these books. So yeah, let's get started. The first book that I'm going to mention is one that I read fairly recently and it became like a new favorite, and that is The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness. This book had me sobbing. Like, I read it fairly quickly, and this is a book that I've had on my TBR for such a long time. I remember I bought it on my Kindle like in 2013 or 2012. And I'm actually happy that all these years later, that I finally picked it up, and I absolutely loved it. This is about a boy named Todd, and Todd lives in a planet where a lot of humans evacuated into because Earth was becoming uninhabitable. And when they arrived to this planet, there was this virus that infected all the men, and they could hear each other's thoughts. All the women have died because of the virus, and they just live in noise. Like, everything all around them is noise from everyone's thoughts. But one day, Todd discovers that there's a spot where there's some weird silence, and he decides to investigate. And yeah, it's a really good book. And I really loved it. I've already read the second book and I have not read the third one yet, but I definitely know that I'm going to love it. Like, the first two books had me hooked. The next book that I want to talk about is also a recent read. I read this earlier this year, and I'm so happy that I chose to read it, and that is Truly Devious and The Vanishing Stair by Maureen Johnson. I don't own Truly Devious physically, but I do have The Vanishing Stair. This is the second book. This is about a girl named Stevie, and she gets chosen to be part of a school that is for like super intelligent people, or like skillful, or you know, that have like special talents. And Stevie is really big on true crime stories, and this school actually had like a murder happen like 70 years prior to when the story takes place. The third book is coming out in January, I believe, and I actually have a lot of theories regarding like what's going to happen in the last book. So if you've read them and you also have theories of your own, hit me up, because I need someone to talk to about these books because I love them so much. If you've read this book, please hit me up. I would love to talk about it. The next book is one that I read 2 years ago for a booktubeathon, and this author is like very highly known, and one of his books is like everyone's favorite book here on BookTube. I personally prefer the one that I'm going to mention better, and I've never heard anyone talk about it, which is like so sad, because in my opinion it's so good, and that is I Am the Messenger by Markus Zusak. So Markus Zusak is the author of The Book Thief, and I do really love that, and that was my favorite book for a really long time. Then I read this one and I was like, I think I like this one better. But this follows a taxi driver named Ed, and at the beginning of the book he's like in a bank, and the bank gets robbed, and Ed manages to get the situation under control. And after this event, he starts receiving playing cards in the mail with messages of things that he has to do. And there are messages where he kind of has, I'm really bad at explaining this, but he basically has to help people, and he has to follow the directions of what the playing cards say, and It's really, really good. I loved the message and the story, and it was just like a heartwarming book, in my opinion. But yeah, if you haven't read this one and you love the book, you definitely pick it up because it's so, so good. The next book that I'm going to talk about is one that is, I've heard it's kind of problematic, and I understand 100% why it would be, but it's a book that definitely touched something in me, and every time I think back on it, like, I definitely think it's one of my favorite books, and that is All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven. Now, this has a lot of trigger warnings. It deals with depression and suicide, so if you are not someone that can handle those kind of topics, I would definitely wouldn't recommend you reading this because it deals with those topics like very heavily. And like obviously your mental health comes first. This follows a boy and a girl, Finch and Violet, and they meet at the rooftop of their school because they are both depressed and considering like suicide after a lot of events in their lives. And they kind of stop each other and help each other and make a pact to be there for one another, and it's just such a beautiful story. I love this book so, so much. So a thing happens kind of like in the last part of the book where I had to put down the book because I was sobbing like so bad, and I had to put it down. And I went to take a shower, and I was sobbing in the shower, and I think that's one of the things that like really stuck with me. Um, because I don't think I had ever cared so much about the characters in a story in this way to make me like sob uncontrollably for like an hour or more, because I finished it and I was still crying. But yeah, I consider this one of my favorite books, and I definitely recommend it if you can deal with these topics. And again, if you can't, and if you get triggered by depression and like attempted suicides and suicide in general, I wouldn't recommend it because it does have like very like it deals with those topics very heavily, as I already said. But I'm saying it again because like take care of yourself and don't put yourself in any harm's way. But yeah, the next couple of books that I'm gonna mention are ones that are like very hyped in BookTube, but I don't care. I love them because of the content, not because they've been like super hyped up or whatever, even though that's the main reason that I read them, but I don't care. This is such a great book, and one of my friends, Alexa from Traveling Reads, recently reread it, and she described the feeling that you get from this book like perfectly. It gives you like such a high that only this book is able to give you. Like there is no other way to describe it, and that is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. This is the second book in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. You've probably heard of it. I don't think there's anyone in the world that has not read this book or this series. And this is the best one out of the three. And I don't think that any other book that she writes is ever going to top this one off. Like, if there's another book that she manages to make better than this one, I'm going to be surprised. But this is so good. This copy, this is my first edition original copy. I defaced it, and I'm gonna like here, as you can see, I did like Ferris tattoo, and I added stars, and these are quotes, and like this is like supposedly Ferris tattoo, like this is the eye. And then for the cover, I didn't turn out quite the way I wanted it to. It's not horrible, but so here we have the mountain with the 3 stars, and then we have To the Stars Who Listen and the Dreams That Are Answered. And I put like blue and a lot of stars. And I do quite like it, but I feel like it could be a little bit cleaner. And I actually did the same thing with ACOTAR, and I haven't done it with ACOWAR. But if you would like to see me doing like a book defacing video on ACOWAR, please leave a comment, because that's actually like that's actually a video idea that I've had for a while. Make book defacing videos, because I do enjoy it. If you want to see me doing that, leave a comment. The next book is another highly popular book here on BookTube, and that is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. Again, I think everybody knows what this book is about. One of the reasons that I love this book so much is because it is very character driven. And I love character driven stories. I like to feel like I'm part of the gang, I guess. I don't know if that's stupid. But I love it when the characters seem very real to me, and when I think on the characters and I feel like they're my friends. And that's one of the reasons I also like ACOMAF, because it is very character driven as well, and I do feel like there's like a gang where I would love to be a part of. When I think about those characters, I don't think of them as like book characters, I think of them as friends. So yeah, Six of Crows definitely has that, and I care a lot about the characters, and it's just so good. And you know, like the hype that surrounds this book definitely lives up to its expectations. And the last book I think is not a surprise for anyone, and that is Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling. I think this is also a lot of people's favorites, but I don't care. Like, it just goes to show like how good Harry Potter is and how much it has done for a lot of people for it to be like almost everyone's favorite. As long as I can remember, I've been watching the movies, and I was kind of late to reading the books. Not that much. Like, I think I started reading them when I was like 11 or 12. Like, Harry Potter has had a huge impact in my life. In high school, I was actually like very depressed. I would fake sickness all of the time to not go. Like, I had a horrible high school experience, and I recently admitted to my mom, like, Mom, I wasn't actually sick most of the time. I just didn't want to go because it was like such a horrible experience. And she was like, yeah, I know, and I didn't want to force you to go because I know that you hated it. And the fact is that those like very dark high school years for me, I would stay home and read Harry Potter, and it would make it so much better for me. I think this is like my ultimate favorite series, and I reread it all the time. I've reread them all like 7 times or more. I don't know, like at this point it might be like 10 more rereads that I've done. But yeah, like, I love Harry Potter so much. So those are all the books that I'm going to be talking about today. I cannot tell you how much each and every one of these books mean to me. If you've read any of them, please let me know and what you thought of them. Whenever I think about any of these books, I just get like a warm feeling in my heart, and I just get so happy because I adore each and every single one of them. But yeah. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a comment down below. Also, if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. So yeah, I will see you next time. Goodbye! Let's do the thumbnail, shall we? Ugh.